I'm Jeff Parks at Park Place Gardens Nursery, PPGN. Today we're going to demonstrate the planting of a large woody perennial. This plant that we're going to be planting today is a Lincoln, Colorado blue Douglas fir, mountain Douglas fir, and the Latin on that is Pseudotsuga menziei glauca Lincoln. This particular tree not only is more cold tolerant than our Pacific Douglas fir, but it also has a more upright, compact, and stiffer growth habit than our Pacific Douglas fir. I think it works perfectly in many landscapes. One of the many questions I get as a nurseryman is always, when is the best time to plant a tree? Well, my answer is any time's a good time to plant a tree. When the plant is ready to be planted, as long as there are not extreme weather conditions, extreme heat and cold. Actually, they are better insulated in the ground than they would be just sitting in their pots. When they're in the ground, there's more protection and insulation from heat, extreme heat, cold, and moisture loss when they're in the ground. Today is a good example of timing when planting a tree with regards to weather conditions. We're here in southwest interior, western Washington state, here in early November. And the last time I checked the forecast, they were predicting a potential snow next week. So timing is important, but I know this tree will do far better in the ground than sitting out in its pot. When you plant a tree and you go to purchase the tree, you want to make sure that the tree has a very good established root system, but not root bound. Another consideration is drainage. I can't emphasize this enough. Poor drainage will suffocate a tree, will create root problems. Ultimately, poor drainage will kill the tree. If you're lucky enough, like we are here, to have a good sandy loam soil, you're good to go, but we still check for drainage because there might be some hard pan or clay soil in a certain area, so always check that first. I recommend that if you have doubts, that you fill the hole that you dug with water. If it hasn't drained within 2 hours, go find another spot or engineer some drainage with pipes or something like that. That's very, very important. I can't emphasize that enough. The other consideration would be the location of the tree. You don't want your tree to be any closer than 12 or 15 feet from other trees, because these trees do get big and you're going to have a big problem on your hands 20, 25 years down the road. Also, don't make the mistake of planting a tree too close to your house. When digging your hole, dig only as deep as the root ball of the plant. Dig the circumference of the hole about 2.5 times larger than the nursery pot or root ball. Additionally, make the outer part of the hole deeper than where the root ball will be placed. This will allow for better drainage and develop deeper root growth. In drier areas and places where there are heavy clay, hard pan, or caliche soils, dig a single hole or shaft and place a PVC pipe in a hole next to your plant hole. You now have a better way to deep water your plants during dry weather periods during the early development, about 2 years, that it takes to establish plants. So after digging your hole, you're now ready to plant your tree. So before you even plant the tree, you want to make sure you add a little water to the plant. This not only hydrates the roots, but it also will make it easier to remove from the pot. If you're having trouble removing this from the pot, you want to turn it on its side, massage the pot a little bit. This helps to loosen it up. If you really have a big problem, you can always take a utility knife and just cut the pot being careful not to injure the roots. And then when you're ready, you just pull this out to the side. It's always easier, especially with a larger tree. And when you put it in the ground, you want to make sure you have it centered on your area that's elevated, but you want to make sure that the soil level is even with the root ball of the tree. This is very important because you want aeration for those roots. So you want to make sure that this gets plenty of oxygen. Many times people often plant trees too deep and they end up killing them. This is something that I hear about all the time. The other thing is, if you're going to stake your tree, you want to place the stake right next to the root ball, making sure that you don't injure the root ball, and you'll be good to go once you put your backfill in. Now that we've got our hole dug and we've got our tree placed where we want it, and we're getting ready to do the backfill, let's talk fertilizers and root stimulators. Especially for a evergreen, I like to use a water-soluble Apex time-release fertilizer. This releases only during rain or when you're watering the tree. Another source of nutrients would be an organic all-purpose fertilizer. More so for a flowering perennial, you would want to use something like a bone meal fertilizer. And then for a root stimulator, all you really need to start out with is just like a B1 that you can find at a garden center, and you want to follow the dilution on the label on the back. And I just mix this up in our 2-gallon watering can, which we will use after we put the backfill in. Okay, so we're now ready to put that backfill in. I've got my gloves on and I'm ready to do some action here with the backfill. So I'm going to bring this in, and oh yeah, I always sprinkle a little bit of this Osmocote around the base of the tree to kind of give it a good start down deep. And the backfill, I recommend using, if you have a compost pile, using your compost. Mix it with some of your natural soil, native soil. This helps the tree to adapt better. My philosophy is that tree needs to get used to the native soil as soon as possible. What happens when you don't do that is you end up getting some shock to the tree down the road when it hits the native soil. So we're going to add a little of that native soil in here as well. Okay, and then you want to make certain that the tree is anchored well. So what I recommend doing is just going around the perimeter of the root ball and push that soil in, give it a good anchor, and you'll add additional soil as necessary. Also, this is the time to put our fertilizer around the base of the tree. Topical feeding, and this is more important probably than at the bottom of the hole, simply because it's going to go down, and that's where you want the nutrients to go, straight to the roots. Then we'll take the B1 solution, pour that around the tree, soak it really good. Also, you probably want to go ahead and water the tree first ahead of doing this. I kind of did that a little prematurely, but you get the idea. The other thing to keep in mind is that grass is a #1 enemy of a tree. You want to use a ground cover around the base of the tree like this. You can find these at, this is a commercial one, but you can find ground cover at your garden center. And then to keep those roots insulated, I recommend a mulch or a bark to go around the tree, and this will keep you out of trouble with the grasses. It will also ensure that the tree is only getting the water and the nutrients that it needs. In other words, you're not competing with the grass on nutrients and water. And finally, with regards to watering the plant, I recommend that if during hot, dry season you water every day for at least 1 to 2 weeks until the plant is established. Obviously, this is November, it's cooler, we don't have to water as much, so once a week if it hasn't rained. Of course, we have rain or snow in the forecast, so we're not going to have to worry about that here in Western Washington. So that's going to take care of itself. I hope this instruction has been helpful and wish you the greatest success in creating your beautiful, healthy landscape. Please visit us at ppgn.com if you have any additional questions or would simply just like to browse our inventory. Again, our motto here at Park Place Gardens Nursery is, "Together we're beautifying the world, one garden at a time."